Welcome to the History and Evolution of AWS section, where we're going to have an overview of AWS, a description of what it's used for, and we'll also take a look at the history and evolution of AWS. So what is AWS? Well, I'm pretty sure you all have a good idea, otherwise you wouldn't have signed up for this course in the first place. But Amazon Web Services is a secure cloud services platform. And what that means is that it offers cloud-based infrastructure for compute, database storage, content delivery, and other functionality to help businesses grow and scale. Now, you don't have to be all in on the cloud. You can run hybrid applications across your existing on-premises and cloud services using AWS. It offers pay-as-you-go pricing, and this is the biggest difference between existing IT infrastructure and cloud services. So you only pay for the time that you're actually using AWS resources. The vast array of AWS products and services allows you to build sophisticated applications that have increased flexibility, scalability, and reliability that you could only dream of with your existing on-site infrastructure. Also, security in the cloud is recognized as being better than on-premise, due to AWS being able to use its size and experience to provide security certification and accreditation, many data encryption capabilities, and exceptional hardware security. And also, AWS is truly global. It's available in 190 countries through 12 different geographic regions. So let's take a look at the timeline of AWS. It was back in late 2003 when Chris Pinkham and Benjamin Black first presented a paper describing a vision for Amazon's retail computing infrastructure. It was completely standardized and completely automated and would rely extensively on web services. Near the end of their presentation, they mentioned a possibility of selling virtual servers as a service. And that meant AWS was born. And it was in 2004 when Simple Queue Service was launched, and this was Amazon Web Services' first service. Then, in 2006, Amazon Web Services as we know it was launched, providing online services for websites and client-side applications. By 2007, Amazon claimed that more than 180,000 developers had already signed up to use Amazon Web Services. And in 2010, it was reported that all of Amazon.com retail web services had been moved onto AWS. In 2012, Amazon hosted its first customer event in Las Vegas called reInvent, and this has been happening ever since. In 2013, AWS launched its certification program for computer engineers with expertise in cloud computing. And in 2015, AWS started to become profitable, and in Q3 2015, its revenue was $2.1 billion, making it by far and away the largest cloud provider service out there. Now, AWS is truly global. The AWS cloud is available in 190 countries, in 12 different geographic regions, and 33 availability zones. And the AWS cloud is always growing. There's going to be 5 new regions brought online in 2016 in Ohio, the US, Montreal in Canada, United Kingdom, India, and also in China. But what is a geographic region and what is an availability zone? Well, a region is a collection of data centers that are completely isolated from the other Amazon regions, and they do this to achieve the greatest possible fault tolerance and stability. An availability zone is located within a region in isolation, but it's connected to other availability zones through low latency links. So here's a diagram of Amazon Web Services regions and availability zones. And you can see that in each region there are multiple availability zones. In fact, there's always a minimum of 2 in each region. And that's so that you have fault tolerance. So if there is an issue with one of the availability zones, you can fail over to the other one. Now, edge locations are located in most of the major cities around the world, and they're used to distribute content to end users with reduced latency. Now, they're used for content delivery network, and an edge location is basically an endpoint for Amazon CloudFront. Now, as you can see on the map, there's more than 50 edge locations based around the world, but what are they used for? Well, if you were living in Sydney and hosting a website, and you had users in London accessing your website, they're going to get some high latency when they click on your website to get the latest information. So you can use edge locations to push your website data around the world. So a user in London only has to connect to the edge location closest to it, which is in London. So the latency is going to be much lower. What sets AWS apart from the competition is the number of products it offers. It offers a broad set of global compute, storage, database, analytics, application, and deployment services that help organizations move faster, lower their IT costs, and scale their applications. And here you can see the Amazon Web Services console and the list of all the existing products available. And as you can see, pretty comprehensive. And we're going to look at all of these in detail in a future section. AWS is the undisputed market leader in cloud infrastructure as a service. Every year, Gartner releases something called the Magic Quadrant, which rates cloud service providers on their ability to execute and their completeness of vision. Now, if you look at the Magic Quadrant, you can see that Amazon is by far and away the leader in this space. Now, Amazon's cloud is reported to be 10 times bigger than its next 14 competitors combined, which is pretty staggering. So if you look at all the blue dots on this graph, if you take all of them, times it by 10, that's how big Amazon is. And Amazon became so big and so dominant in this market because it's constantly releasing new features and innovating. In fact, in 2015 alone, it released 700 new features. Welcome to the overview of AWS Products and Services section, where we're going to perform a high-level overview of all of the products and services that are available on Amazon Web Services. So let's start with the compute section. First up is Amazon's biggest product, EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, which provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud and is intended to make web-scale computing easier for developers. Users maintain complete control of their computing resources, and Amazon operates under a pay-as-you-go model, so you're only paying for the time you're actually using your resources. It also only takes minutes to launch new server instances, so it allows you to scale as your computing requirements change. And we'll have a whole lesson on EC2 as it comes up in the exam a lot. Next up is the EC2 Container Service. Now, this doesn't come up much or even at all in the Solutions Architect Associate exam, but you just need to know what it is. And the EC2 Container Service is a highly scalable, high-performance container management service that supports Docker containers and allows you to easily run applications on a managed cluster of EC2 instances. So if you do see any questions about EC2 Container Service, it'll probably be related to the fact that it runs Docker. So if you remember Docker and EC2 Container Service, that will do for now. Elastic Beanstalk is an easy-to-use service for deploying and scaling web applications. So any web applications developed with Java or .NET or PHP, etc., you can run it on Apache, Nginx, Passenger, and IIS. All you do is upload your code, AWS inspects it, and then provisions the resources for it to run. This is currently only in the exam at a high level, but you just need to know Elastic Beanstalk is for web applications. Then there's Lambda. Again, this is something that doesn't really come up in the exam, but it will do for sure in the future. So Lambda lets you run your code without provisioning or managing servers, and you pay just for the execution time that your code is running. So you can run little self-contained snippets of JavaScript, Java, or Python code to do discrete tasks. So as I said, this doesn't come up in the exam much, but it will do, as this really is the future of cloud computing. And finally in this section, Elastic Load Balancing. This is a networking service that automatically spreads out incoming application traffic across several available EC2 instances. The service can also detect unhealthy instances and reroute traffic to healthy ones. And we'll do a demo with load balancing later on. So let's take a look at storage and content delivery, which is a huge area in Amazon's products and services. And we'll start with Amazon S3, a simple storage service. This is an object-based online storage service that offers a practically unlimited data storage space in the cloud. So it's essentially a place to store your files. You can store images and other assets for websites, you can keep backups, and you can share files between services. Also, many other AWS services write and read from S3, and we cover this in a lot more detail in another lesson. Then there's Amazon CloudFront, and we touched on this earlier. This is a content delivery service, or a CDN, that integrates with other Amazon Cloud services to provide an easy way for businesses and developers to distribute data through high-speed transfers. Basically, you can make your websites load much faster by spreading out static file delivery to be closer to where your users are, using Amazon's global network of edge locations. Next is a new service from Amazon called EFS. This is basically a NAS in the cloud, and is storage that can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. And unlike S3, EFS is block-level storage. It's been rolled out to different regions this year, so it doesn't feature too much on the exams at the moment, but it will do. Next is Glacier. This is a long-term backup and archiving service in the cloud, so you can make backups of your backups that you keep on S3. Now, Glacier is extremely cheap. The cost per gigabyte is very, very low. The trade-off is that you don't get instant access to your files on Glacier. It can take several hours to get anything back, so it shouldn't be used for anything that you need immediate access to. But for archiving historical data or database backups, it's perfect. AWS Import-Export Snowball. Now, this is part of the import-export service, which is used to move large amounts of data quickly without having to do it over the network. So if you're a company that's looking to move all your data to Amazon, historically you would have to upload it over the internet. Now, if you're talking about terabytes or petabytes, this is going to take a long, long time. So Amazon developed their import-export service, so you could send in your external hard drives with the data on, and they would upload it into the Amazon cloud. And Snowball is an extension of this. It's an 80 petabyte external device that you upload all your data into and then ship it off to Amazon. And so you can get petabytes of data into the cloud much, much quicker than before. And finally, in this section, Storage Gateway. So this is a way of extending your existing on-premise storage into the cloud. So you can set up a virtual machine in your data center and install Storage Gateway on it, and it replicates data to and from your site to AWS. So it's a cheap way of expanding your storage. Now we're going to take a look at databases, another big area in Amazon. And we'll start with Amazon RDS, which is the Relational Database Service. And RDS provides scalable relational databases in the cloud. Database administrative tasks are managed for you by Amazon, and it can even automatically patch database software on your behalf. So this is perfect if you have an application that just has a database and you don't need any of the high-level database functionality. You can just launch an Amazon RDS instance, connect your application to the database, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Backups and maintenance is taken care of on your behalf. Amazon DMS is Database Migration Service. This is new. It was launched late in 2015, and it's a way to replicate, migrate, or convert your existing on-site databases into Amazon Web Services. And it has a number of features. You can replicate your on-site database straight into Amazon, or you can even get it to convert to a different database platform for you. So if you have Oracle on site and don't want to use it anymore, you can use DMS to convert your Oracle database to Amazon Aurora or Microsoft SQL Server or anything like that. So it's a groundbreaking product that Amazon is really pushing hard at the moment. Then we have DynamoDB, which is Amazon's NoSQL offering. Now, we'll be covering NoSQL databases in a later section, so you don't have to worry about that now, but just remember DynamoDB equals NoSQL. Elasticache is a way of caching your database services in the cloud. So this is really cool. If you have users all running the same queries, then you can use Elasticache to cache these results in the Elasticache service. So this means that the next time someone runs the same query, rather than pushing the load all onto the database and having to get the results back again, the users can just get the results directly from Elasticache. And finally, Amazon Redshift. This is Amazon's data warehousing service, which again we'll cover in much more detail in a later lesson. But for now, start remembering that Redshift is Amazon's data warehousing service. Let's take a look at networking. And we'll start with Amazon VPC. Now VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud, and it kind of works as a bridge between a user's existing IT infrastructure and Amazon's cloud. And a VPC allows you to create a safe, secure private cloud service that appears as if all your AWS services are on your own network. And you can have numerous VPCs within your Amazon account. So you could set up a virtual private cloud for your production environment, and then one for your development environment. And VPC is a big section, and you need to know this inside out. And we have a lesson on VPC coming up where you'll get to create your own virtual private clouds and all the network configuration associated with it. Route 53 is Amazon's DNS and domain service. So you can use it to manage your domain DNS records, and you can also use it to manage your VPC domain name services. It's called Route 53 because 53 is the port that DNS uses, and it's a play on words for Route 66, which is a major highway in the US. Direct Connect is a way of connecting into your Amazon Web Services environment without having to use an internet connection. Leased lines connect directly from your data center or network to Amazon Web Services. And we'll have a look at the analytics section now. We'll start with Amazon Elasticsearch Service. This allows you to use the popular open source search and analytics engine Elasticsearch as a managed service in AWS. Elastic MapReduce allows businesses and developers to process large amounts of data using a Hadoop framework, and it's great for processes like data mining and scientific simulation. Again, this is something that you need to know at a high level, so you need to know what it is. So Elastic MapReduce, like Hadoop framework and data mining. Kinesis is a way of streaming data to Amazon Web Services. Kinesis can ingest huge amounts of data very quickly from things like mobile applications or sensors. Amazon Machine Learning, you can predict future behavior from existing data. Now, the best example of this is that Amazon use this on their website. So when you are searching for a product on Amazon.com and you always see those, maybe you would like this option, that's machine learning in action. QuickSight is a very fast cloud-powered business intelligence service that makes it easy for all employees to build visualizations, perform ad hoc analysis, and quickly get business insights from their data. And Data Pipeline. This is Amazon's ETL service. So you can extract, transform, and load data from elsewhere in Amazon. You can schedule when it happens, and you can also get alerts when your ETL processes fail. Amazon offers a number of enterprise applications to help you reduce your IT infrastructure. The first of these is Amazon WorkDocs, which is an enterprise storage and sharing service, so you can share files and documents with your colleagues. It's basically Amazon's answer to Dropbox or Google Docs. Amazon Workmail is Amazon's answer to Microsoft Exchange, so you can give everyone in your company the same email system and calendar. And finally, Amazon Workspaces. This is a managed desktop computing service in the cloud. So you can create a variety of different sized Windows desktops that run in the cloud, and then your users can connect to them. So they don't actually need a very high powered computer, but they just need a PC or a tablet with an internet connection, and then they can connect to the Windows desktop in the cloud. Amazon offers a number of mobile services to help you with your app development. The first of these is Amazon Cognito, which basically saves your mobile user data in the cloud and provides sign-up and sign-in access to your mobile and web applications. You can use existing social identity providers like Facebook or Twitter, or you can use your own solution to handle it. So, in a nutshell, Amazon Cognito handles user management, authentication, and sync across devices. Mobile analytics is a way of tracking and measuring what people are doing inside your app. So you can use this to measure app usage and revenue generation. You can also track key trends like user retention, so you can see how well your app is performing once you've released it.
Amazon SNS, which stands for Simple Notification Service, allows you to send mobile notifications, emails, and SMS messages to your apps. So you can instantly deliver messages to your applications using SNS. Some big brands use this, like Yelp, Periscope, and even Tinder. Device Farm allows you to test your application on a bunch of different iOS and Android devices simultaneously. So this is really cool. So once you've built your app and you need to test it, rather than having to get your hands on one of every type of device that it's going to run on, you can just upload it to Amazon Device Farm and it'll simultaneously test it against all the devices that are out there today. And finally, AWS Mobile Hub. This kind of brings together all of the features we've just talked about to let you build, test, and monitor your mobile applications. So it easily lets you add and configure features for your apps, and it handles user authentication, data storage, and notifications. Amazon has a new service called Internet of Things, or IoT. And this is a managed cloud platform that lets connected devices, for example cars or light bulbs, easily and securely interact with cloud applications and other devices. So an example of this would be how IoT could improve driver safety with connected cars. So if a car's driving along and the road is a bit slippery, it can upload this data or information to Amazon IoT. And IoT processes the data based on rules and interprets that the moisture levels are high, and it should send an alert to nearby cars. So it alerts nearby cars in that area that moisture levels are high, and the drivers are alerted, warning, roads are slippery. The data is also transferred to Amazon S3 so that the data can be used for future analysis, and it can be analyzed with things like Amazon QuickSight and machine learning, so that in the future predictions can be made, so that warnings will instantly be sent out when certain events happen. Let's take a look at some of the developer tools that Amazon offer. The first of these is Amazon Code Commit, and it allows you to create AWS hosted version control for your code. So it's basically Amazon's version of GitHub. Amazon Code Deploy allows you to get your code from Code Commit repository and deploy it to your EC2 instances. And Code Pipeline is a continuous delivery service for fast and reliable application updates. So Code Pipeline builds, tests, and deploys your code every time there is a code change, based on the release process model that you define. AWS offers a suite of management tools to help you look after and monitor your AWS resources. The first of these is Amazon CloudWatch, and CloudWatch enables monitoring for EC2 and other Amazon Cloud services, so you can get alerts about AWS services when they go wrong. So you can set up alerts for high CPU or high memory usage. And CloudWatch can be linked with Elastic Load Balancer, which we'll look at in a later lesson. CloudFormation is really cool. It allows you to set up a bunch of connected AWS services in one go. You don't need to know how to do this, you just need to have a high-level understanding. But it's a way of basically saving templates of entire environments. You can press a button and they just appear within minutes. Amazon CloudTrail is Amazon's answer to auditing, so you can audit what users are doing on your AWS resources. Config is a way of tracking configuration management changes, so you can create rules to ensure that your config isn't changing, or you can be alerted when your config is changing. AWS OpsWorks is a configuration management service that helps you configure and manage operations using Chef. So you can handle running your application with things like auto-scaling. So just need to remember that OpsWork is Chef. AWS Service Catalog. Service Catalog allows organizations to create and manage catalogs of IT services that are approved for use on AWS. So you can ensure compliance with your corporate standards, and you can help employees quickly find and deploy approved IT services from your AWS catalog. And lastly but not leastly, Trusted Advisor. This is an automated service that identifies areas where you're paying too much for your AWS setup. So it will look for things like unused EC2 instances or idle instances. So this is a pretty cool tool to run against your environment, especially if you have lots of servers or instances, and it will tell you where you're wasting money. In the security and identity section, AWS offers AWS IAM, which stands for Identity and Access Management. And this is where you control access to your AWS resources. So you can set up users, groups, manage their permissions, keys, passwords, and policies. It's a huge area in the exam, and we'll cover it in more detail in a later lesson. Amazon Inspector is new, and this is a way to determine if you've set up your instances in an insecure way. So it's an automated security assessment service that helps improve the security and compliance of your applications running on AWS. After it performs an assessment, it provides a detailed list of security findings prioritized by severity. Cloud HSM, which stands for Hardware Security Module, is a service that helps you meet corporate, contractual, and regulatory compliance requirements for data security. With Cloud HSM, you can control the encryption keys and cryptographic operations performed by the HSM. So what this means is that Cloud HSM is a way to secure your encryption keys in the cloud in a very, very secure environment. AWS Directory Service makes it easy to set up and run Microsoft Active Directory in the cloud. Or you can connect your AWS resources with an existing on-premise Microsoft Active Directory. And this is cool because it means rather than your users having to log into the Amazon resources using a different username and password, you can just link it with your Active Directory so that people can just log in with the same password and username they use to log into their desktop. AWS Key Management Service, or KMS, is a managed service that makes it easy for you to create and control the encryption keys used to encrypt your data. Like Cloud HSM, this uses hardware security modules to protect the security of your keys. And finally, AWS WAF, which stands for Web Application Firewall. So you can use this service to block bad requests to CloudFront protected sites, or other websites that you're hosting on AWS. And the last section we'll look at is application services. The first of these is API Gateway, which allows you to proxy your application APIs through this service, which is cool because it means you can throttle bad client traffic, or you can test new versions, and you can present your methods more cleanly. This doesn't really feature in the exam, so you just need to know what it is. AppStream lets you deliver your Windows application to any device. So you can put a copy of a Windows application on a Windows machine and then let people get remote access to it. Cloud Search is Amazon's answer to full text search. So you can quickly search through data stored on S3 or in your RDS databases and search it for particular instances of words. It's kind of a full text search in the cloud. Elastic Transcoder is a way of transcoding media files. So you can use this service to change formats, compress video files, and make your media usable on all devices. Amazon SES stands for Simple Email Service, and you can send one-off emails like marketing emails or password resets or other notifications, and you can link it with other AWS services like Lambda. Amazon SQS stands for Simple Queue Service, and it's a hosted queue that increases workflow between distributed components of applications that perform different tasks. What this means is it allows developers to easily move data without losing messages or requiring each component to always be available. It doesn't have any logic, it's just a place to put things and take things out. So what that means is you can use Amazon SQS to create a queue of work where each message is a task that needs to be computed by a process. One or many computers can read these tasks from the queue and perform them when they have spare capacity. And finally, Amazon SWF, Simple Workflow Service. This service helps developers build, run, and scale background jobs that have parallel or sequential steps. You can think of it as a fully managed state tracker and task coordinator. Now, Amazon use this in their warehouses, so when you order something on Amazon.com, it uses SWF to process your order to ensure that it's delivered on time and you get the product you actually asked for. So let's review the key takeaways from this lesson. Amazon Web Services is a secure cloud services platform that offers cloud-based infrastructure for compute, database storage, content delivery, and other functionality to help businesses scale and grow. AWS is truly global. It's available in 190 countries through 12 geographic regions. A region is a geographic area isolated from other Amazon regions to provide the greatest possible fault tolerance. An availability zone is located within a region, and there are at least 2 availability zones per region connected via low latency links. Edge locations are CDNs, content delivery networks, and are located all over the world in major cities and are used to provide content to end users with low latency. AWS has cloud-based products to provide you with compute resources like virtual servers, containers, and auto-scaling. Storage, object and block-based storage, and methods to transport your data to and from AWS. Databases, RDS managed database services plus database platforms for NoSQL and data warehousing. Networking, AWS provides VPC and Route 53 to manage your networks and DNS. Analytics, AWS has a suite of tools like Kinesis or machine learning to help you speed up your data analytics and data mining. There are enterprise applications like WorkDocs or Workspaces, which simplify your desktop and file sharing. Mobile services, AWS provides a whole suite of applications to assist your mobile application, design, build, and monitoring. Tools like Mobile Hub or Device Farm will help you with this. Internet of Things. AWS has a product called IoT, which collects data from your internet-connected devices. There are developer tools, which have products to assist with source code management and deployment, like Code Commit. AWS provides management tools so that you can manage your AWS environment in the cloud. Tools like auditing, configuration management are provided via CloudTrail and CloudWatch. Security and identity. IAM allows you to control your user access to AWS, and Inspector checks your resources for security vulnerabilities. And application services. There are tools to simplify and automate your application workflow like SQS or SWF. This concludes the AWS overview lesson. The next lesson is designing highly available, cost-efficient, fault-tolerant, scalable systems.